Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of Lost Art of Conversations with your hosts, Joe
and Paul.
All right, Paul, before we start, we're going to get where you can find us out of the way. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Lost Art of Conversations and on Twitter at Lost Art of Convo. And you can also search us by our podcast name on wherever you listen to your podcasts and on YouTube. Just remember to follow us and subscribe so that you can get instant notification when a new episode drops. And today's episode is titled, You Ate What?
What did we eat?
What do we eat? So, Paul, we decided to have an episode dedicated to food, to, some of the things we've eaten, tracking food, etc. Why don't you explain, to the audience a little bit about why we think this is important?
Yeah, well, I think it's a big thing, and as it always has been, food, nutrition, staying healthy, getting in shape, and all that. So food is a part of everyone's life. Obviously, we have to eat to survive, and it's just over the years, social media has so many channels about food and preparing food and all.
It's
and all.
huge.
How many shows on TV are food related?
Yeah.
There's a Food Network, right? So there's a lot of things to do with food. So we really want to talk about how our eating habits have changed over the years, how we used to eat maybe poorly or well before, and how it's changed, as I said. And I think we're just going to get into a little bit about some kind of foods that we've eaten in the past that may be a little bit strange, that we've maybe overeaten, maybe we indulge in a little too much.
We definitely have some obsessions, right?
We have some obsessions.
We know some of our obsessions ourselves because being good friends, we've shared so many meals together, right? Like friends go out, they eat meals together.
That's what we do mostly.
Yeah,
right?
it's so communication, right? You have those conversations at during meals. We talked about it in a previous episode about even like the subtle change of like having more meals with your family. How important it is, right? And the thing is like Paul said, right? Like so much social media is like revolving around like taking pictures of your food and posting it on Instagram. You're at a restaurant, right? And like the thing is
we've
that
all done that.
We used to, and I do too, right?
We do.
And the thing is that we used to, back in the day, we just like would talk about what if we went to a restaurant the next day, a friend would call you and they'd be like, hey, so you said you were going to go to that restaurant, did you end up going to that restaurant? Right. And you'd have that conversation,
and you talk about the actual food as well.
And you'd have you start with the food and then you talk about other things. But now that conversation may not even happen because your friend just sees it on social media and they just move on to the next thing.
Right. And
so there's no reason to call you.
Click, right?
Yeah, there's no reason to call you.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, Paul, I'm going to ask you, like it might sound like it's funny, but it's a serious question. Okay?
Go ahead.
When you were a kid and your grandmother or grandfather or somebody used to call your house.
Yes.
One of the first lines was, Manjasti.
Right?
Are you eating? Are you eating or did you eat?
Did you eat?
If you did eat,
yeah.
What did you eat? If you're going to eat, what are you eating?
Okay. And if you want to eat, I'll bring something over for you.
Exactly. Right? So it's a great conversation starter, right? It's the meals, etc., right? And like Paul said, we're going to talk about maybe some of our epic meals that we've had in the past.
Yeah. And continues to still do that.
And but to prepare for this also, Paul and I thought it would be a cool idea to just kind of track our eating for 3 days in a row. Like whether, I don't know how specific Paul got, but I got pretty specific, I guess, and I think you did too. And because it's kind of interesting, right? Because it's good. Sometimes you look at what you're eating and you think you're doing a good job, but you don't even realize because like you've got that built-in bias, right? You don't even realize that maybe you're having a little bit too much sugar, or because you think it's like not much sugar, but it's because you're comparing it to maybe yourself in the past.
Yeah. Well, also the food that you're eating, you may think that, oh, that's good for me. I've been eating that for a while and nothing's wrong with it.
Yeah.
But it's completely opposite, where it's completely bad for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And you don't know that. Yeah.
So we're gonna maybe start talking about like, so when I think about like food and like maybe like a funny moment or like something that we bring up often, I would say like the meal that I remember of epic proportions is the Red Lobster meal.
Yes, that is the Red Lobster meal of very epic proportions.
So like for like, I think all friends and like like even like friendships have like this like memory of like something that was consumed that was like extraordinary, right? Yeah. So like with our friend Tom, like it's about the day that he drank gravy.
Yes, I remember that vividly.
So gravy drinking kind of it goes with Tom, right? so with Paul, it's his consumption of shrimp.
Yes. And there was a lot of butter, but there was a lot of fried as well.
But it's important for everyone to note that it wasn't just the amount of shrimp that was consumed that was impressive that day. It was the variety.
Yes, it was the variety. So I can tell the story where we decided to go to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
And I forgot how old we were, but at the time I could stomach more things than I can now.
For sure.
So we went to Red Lobster, and it was the special, the Shrimp Fest, I think it was called.
All you can eat shrimp.
All you can eat shrimp. Yeah. So I said, okay, great. All you can eat. They don't know me.
Yeah.
That well. So we went there.
It's all you can eat, not you can eat all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And as soon as I walked in, they said, put a limit on this guy. So we went in there, we sat down, and, we said, okay, so how many we're going to get here? So I remember that number. It was 54. I remember the number.
But I don't think you ordered 54.
No, I ordered.
You consumed 54.
That's right. Yeah. So what you do is they give you, I think it was like 6 at a time of different flavors. You had 3 different kind of flavors.
Which makes sense because 54 is a multiple of 6.
There you go. Yeah. So I'm correct. So they would give you, I think, the butter shrimp. You had the fried shrimp, and then there was some other kind of shrimp.
Yeah.
I don't know how many kinds of shrimp they can give you, but that's what it was. And we just said, okay, give me one of each, and then keep it coming, right? So I would slowly start to consume this and consume, and we would keep a log of how many we've eaten, right? Or how many I ate. And so it was, we just kept coming. I just said, just keep it coming, whatever. The lady kind of looked at me strange, but I believe that Tom said, like, can I try some? So I think, if I remember correctly, I gave 1 or 2 away.
Okay.
So I consumed 52 shrimp in one sitting. Okay. But there was other things. There was the butter biscuit roll, whatever it's called. And there was
an entity in itself.
Yeah, so that'll explode in your stomach.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things that I ate as well on top of that.
Yeah.
And we all, it's not just myself, we all had quite a bit of food that night.
Yeah,
it was pretty epic,
when I think about this, like when I think about Red Lobster,
yes,
my heart aches. Right? Like if you think about it, really, I think, like, I'm not sure there exists a human being on this earth that hasn't regretted their trip to Red Lobster after the fact.
Well,
like while you're there, man. It is
good.
Enjoyable.
It's good.
Yeah.
How else do they make food melt in your mouth?
Yeah.
Butter.
It's succulent.
That's a great word.
It's a perfect word. I
like that word.
Yeah, succulent.
It encompasses everything that it is. Succulent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it literally falls apart. Like the meat of the shrimp and the crab or whatever.
Yeah.
It just disintegrates in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's butter.
Yeah.
That's strictly butter.
Yeah. And I think it was actually the first time I even had they had that like the fettuccine Alfredo with like crab in it.
Oh yeah, I remember
and
that.
to be honest with you, as an Italian, I'm embarrassed that I even ate that. But it's just
pretty good.
It's the butter.
It's the butter. It's the butter and cream, and basically there's no nutritious ingredients in that meal.
You know what's funny? Red Lobster's gonna listen to this podcast, and they're gonna call us up and say, it's not butter. I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah. Yeah. They know it. They know it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would say that's one of the places that we've definitely had some extraordinary meals that we consumed that probably we shouldn't have. Another would be Peter's on Eglinton.
Oh man. So Joe introduced me to this place. I didn't know what it was. And he's
Yeah.
like, we got to go to this place. We got to try it. It's amazing. They give you nice big sandwiches. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I tried big sandwiches before.
The way I explained it to you, though, was, if we're going to be honest, that when
you said it's meat with a piece of bread.
Well, it is meat with a piece of bread. But I said, I've known people who have ordered one and have taken enough home to make sandwiches for the rest of the week.
That's right. You said that. Yeah. They put it in the sandwich for about a week or so later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom would be first one to jump up and tell you it's Greek owned.
Well, there you go.
Of course.
So it is.
Okay. That's why it's so amazing.
That's right. It's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat.
Okay. But yeah. The restaurant itself has other things other than their big pastrami sandwich, but it is known.
It's known for that.
Yeah, it is known for that.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend anybody listening at home to Google Peter's on Eglinton and look at the pictures, and you'll see something that you can't even wrap your hands around.
No, you can't. Let alone your mouth. I don't think your jaw goes that wide. But it's it's massive. It's about 6 inches thick of pure cold cut meat.
And the thing is so I've introduced like my cousins from Syracuse. They're big eaters, right? Like my cousin Frank, he actually has, and because I need to talk about my cousin Frank if we're talking about food, right? Because like my cousin Frank is like we go to the New York State Fair, and he actually has his own like guided tour of things that need to be eaten in a certain order.
Oh my god!
When you go to the New York State Fair,
really?
Right? Like he has it. Like if you ask him, like, and so when I went there the first time with him, he's like, okay, we gotta do this. We gotta eat this first. Then we gotta eat this second.
He's tested the palate over the years.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
So
there's a certain sequence of events,
and so we went, and my cousin Joe afterwards threw up.
Oh man. What did you guys eat?
There was
Were New York fries and
fried Oreo cookies.
Oh,
that's
got to be a
fried dough. Like it's a plethora of food.
Is there any like meat or?
Oh, there is. There's a lot of stuff, right? So my cousin Frank, like all my cousins, when they've come from Syracuse, I brought them to
Peter's on Eglinton.
At a certain point, and the common theme between all of them is that it's kind of my version of the tour. Okay, so the Peter's on Eglinton tour is eat a lot of cold cuts with a side of bread, and then take a nap.
Pretty much, and you need a pickle. But you don't like pickle, so you gotta get a pickle.
Yeah, because my cousin Joe, after that meal, it was instant sleep.
Okay, that and so instant sleep and a liter of water you need.
Yes,
because that thing, there's so much sodium in it. So
this is a little off topic, but there was when I brought my cousin Anthony from the States to Peter's on Eglinton, and this is the fun thing about frequenting restaurants together with family, with friends, whatever, because there's always things that happen there that then become stories, right?
That's right.
So we went to Peter's on Eglinton, and they have the private, not so private bathroom.
What does that mean?
So meaning that
private, not so. Oh, is it like a shared? Okay.
You go into the washroom. It's a male's and it could have been my cousin Anthony's a smart guy, but in some ways he has his moments, right? So like he told me this, and I don't know even to this day if I even believe him. But you walk into the bathroom and the door is not lockable. It's one of those waving doors that you go into. So, but there's no stall around the toilet.
What?
It's private, but not so private.
How does that work?
That's what I'm saying.
private. Yeah, how would
So
that
he
actually...
came out and he was making fun of me because we always make fun of each other about like Canadian things, American things. Because this is how Canadians go to the bathroom. They just go into and there's an open toilet just randomly in the middle of the bathroom. So I have to. I almost feel like now I have to frequent the restaurant just to see if this is true. Because after that happened, I never really confirmed whether that was the case.
Wait, you know what we're gonna do?
Yeah,
we're gonna set up a restaurant day. And we're gonna go. Done.
Yeah.
Deal.
So Peter's on Eglinton, that's another one. I think we've had some times where we've had like some epic burritos, some sushi runs.
Here's one. Denny's.
Denny's.
We went with Tom that one time. I don't remember.
That one time we went, interestingly enough, the only reason we went to Denny's was because it was the only place open.
That is correct.
Because it was Easter weekend.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was... Man, the grease in that place, man, I don't know. But it's good when you're hungry.
Well, we were all fasting for Easter.
Yeah, that's right. We were all eating fastly for Easter. But there was when you're hungry and it's late and it's like, you just want something, to do.
Yeah.
So Denny's, man, it's like...
Do you remember the meal though, Paul? I'll tell
I
you
remember sliders.
There were sliders.
No, nachos.
Okay. So it's nachos.
Yes, it was nachos.
But there was a problem with the nachos.
Yeah. All I remember is a lot of grease on the nachos.
It was because of the quality of the meat.
Okay, so that's what it was. Yes. Yeah. I remember that
Definitely
specifically.
fatty meat.
Oh, yes. It wasn't your AAA or whatever. It was grade A.
It was definitely not
meat.
What we were used to eating.
No.
It was literally like slabs of greasy ground beef.
That's right.
Thrown on top of nachos
and
and a bunch of I guess American cheese.
That's right. So
on top.
With Peter's on Eglinton, after you eat that meal, you go to sleep.
Yeah.
With this one, you go to the bathroom.
You go to the bathroom. And not to say what Denny's has really improved over the years. I went to Denny's in California.
Yeah.
And the Denny's in California had like these amazing healthy meals.
Was it Denny's or like IHOP?
No, not Denny's. I can't stand IHOP.
Yeah, they don't have IHOPs here, do they?
They have Niagara Falls, I think.
Isn't that international? Oh, international.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah,
that's an IHOP.
That's what I have. As you can tell, I don't go there often.
I think you need to play some Wordle.
That's right.
So we definitely had, and another funny thing that I remember too, and right now we're focused on like how we've eaten stuff like even together as friends with other friends. Like I'd like to also get into like what we used to eat as kids that maybe we're ashamed of. but I know like one other time on a dare when we were at what's that like sports bar off of
Wegs?
Yeah, Wegs.
Yeah,
we're at Wegs, and we're having nachos again.
Always nachos.
And they brought the jalapeno peppers.
Oh yeah.
In a side like bowl.
Yeah.
And either Paul or someone dared me to put as many jalapeno peppers in my mouth as possible. I think
you did all of them.
So I did put them all in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then the next part of the bet was that it wasn't enough to just have them in my mouth. I had to chew them and keep them in my mouth chewed.
Yes. Let's just say your face turned purple.
So I ran to the washroom and I had to stick my entire head under the sink of cold water to cool myself down.
Why do we do these things?
We do these things.
I don't know.
I don't know why we do these things.
It's kind of crazy.
It likely explains my stomach issues for years later.
You're wondering, say, why do I have these problems? Remember that time?
Yeah, and the residue of those jalapenos lasted for days.
Oh man,
you can catch my drift.
It's when you do that kind of thing, even milk won't help you.
Yeah,
like it's just or bread.
Yeah,
it just doesn't soothe the
for sure
spiciness.
And I mean, Paul's always had an obsession with gorgonzola.
I was just gonna say that. So that is my obsession, and it all started when I went to Italy as a kid.
Yeah,
and
is gorgonzola the one with the worms?
It's not worms. It's like penicillin in it. So it's got mold in it, but it's healthy. It's healthy mold.
Okay.
So maybe that's why I've been healthy for so long, right? It's like an aspirin.
Yeah.
But where my mom is from in Italy, northern Italy, they they manufacture it
Yeah.
not too far from where her house is.
Yeah.
Her aunt's house is. And it's amazing. You go to the market there, and they have these massive wheels, almost like the Parmigiano wheels.
Yeah.
Massive like that, of Gorgonzola. And for those of you who don't know, Gorgonzola is like a softer cheese, creamy, and it has like it's almost like blue cheese, but a lot creamier and more, less strength of flavor.
Yeah.
But they give you a slab in the market. You bring it home and you have breadsticks, and you just eat that with breadsticks, man. I finished the whole slab. And it's, man, it's just so good.
I'm picturing
and I had
that.
some on Easter last week.
Yeah,
I had some.
I'm picturing that, and like, I don't know, like when I picture like that soft cheese, like the song that comes to mind is the do run runs, the do run runs.
No. My stomach is well adapted to that.
Okay. Yeah. Because I could just like,
nothing will.
That has stomach ache written all over it.
No, you know what? It's just like the problem is that with Gorgonzola, the only problem is that I won't stop eating it if it's in front of me. That's the only problem.
There's been times in the past where I've called you Paul, and I don't know if you remember this, but I'll be like, Paul, what are you doing? I'm just eating some Gorgonzola.
Man, when I'm starving and I come home, it's like, where's the Gorgonzola at?
It's so crazy, right? Like if you think about like our eating habits and like things that like we enjoy, it's like like, and just like you told the story of like where it came from. It's really cool to just like, you know, have that knowledge.
Man, we would we're so upset. Even my mother loves it.
Yeah.
And we're so obsessed with it that we would take these slabs home.
Yeah.
From it in Italy. We would take them home to our house in Italy there or whatever my mom's from. Vacuum seal them. Put them in the suitcase and bring them home.
Yeah, sure.
And they would last like a couple of days.
Yeah.
That's it. Because you can't fill the whole suitcase with cheese.
Yeah, of course.
But man, it's like, I want some now.
So Paul's obsessed with one type of fungus. My obsession is with the other, which is mushrooms.
Oh, you love mushrooms?
Yeah, I love mushrooms, right? Paul knows that. Yeah.
It's a very earthy thing.
I've always been pretty obsessed with mushrooms. I really like mushrooms.
Well, can I say, before we started the podcast, you had said, you know what I have for dinner?
Yeah,
I had stuffed portobello mushrooms.
My wife's making these amazing portobello mushrooms these days. You know, and she starts laughing too, right? Because I do the online ordering, right? And like I subtly make sure that like the portobello mushrooms are on the order. So when she's unpacking the groceries, she sees them. She's like, I guess you want me to make the portobello mushrooms again.
Yeah, man.
Right? Because those things, when you buy them, they don't last long. You got to make them.
You got to make them. Yeah.
You got to make them right
meat,
away.
Though, almost.
Yeah.
Because it's so thick.
But they're so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're filled with a soft cheese as well, but not gorgonzola. I can't stomach gorgonzola. I'll be honest with you. Like blue cheese gorgonzola, it bothers me.
I have an idea. Why don't we put some in the description, some recipes for some foods that we've eaten?
Well, that's the thing, right? And actually, when we get into our meals, like one of the things when I started recording my stuff is that I feel, and we'll probably get into it, I feel like I eat too much dairy. And so, but we'll talk about that when we get into the meals more. What about Paul when you were a kid? Let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what were your eating habits like when you were younger? Like,
to be honest, I would eat everything. So it would be. So how young? That's
well, I'm just saying, like, because I remember, like, I went through a phase like in high school, and I know it's because obviously we're like growing, right? You know, young men, whatever, like you're in a lot of sports, so your metabolism.
Yeah.
Like I used to like go to high school and I used to have like a big, like a veal sandwich from home. Yeah. And then I would have all kinds of other food. And then on top of that, I go to the calf, I get a rib sandwich at the calf. Like I would eat a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like this height and like 130 pounds.
Yeah, wow.
Right. It was like crazy, right? Like I wouldn't gain weight because I was so active. Right. Yeah. But I wasn't eating well though.
No.
Like I'm not that I wasn't eating, like I was going out of my way to eat something that's bad, but I mean, I was eating a lot of meat.
But at those ages, you can eat whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll kind of like, you know, who knows if it has long-term effect right now, but you could kind of eat whatever and you should be fine.
Yeah.
But later on, change your diet, right? Yeah. For me, it was opposite, actually. I would eat very, very healthy in high school.
Yeah.
Because I was playing hockey, working out all the time. And I don't think I ate even like cold cuts or anything like that. If I had eggs, it was egg whites.
Yeah.
I barely had bread. It was like just very chicken all the time, tuna sandwiches, things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing crazy. I would have the cafeteria fries once in a while.
Yeah.
As a treat. But I was pretty strict actually. Before I got into like sports really heavily, I would eat whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
Like literally for lunch, I would have dried sausage,
mortadella
sandwiches, prosciutto sandwiches. Yeah. I would have Parmigiano cheese for anything, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of like the healthy thing. It was just kind of hard to maintain.
Can you imagine kids these days like going to school with the meals we used to go to school with?
Oh yeah, no, they don't. They don't.
Like, did we even know what Lunchables were back then?
No, man. It's like, no, not at all. There was nothing prepackaged.
No.
It was all like sandwiches and stuff like that our parents gave us. And
like my prepackaged was like, if my mom didn't make the Rice Krispie bars,
you didn't eat it.
like no, like they like I would.
That's right. That's right.
We'd have Rice Krispies. Yeah. But like they had Rice Krispie bars or granola bars. And those were our treats, right? Like
but they were made homemade.
Yeah. Well, no, my mom would get granola bars.
Them, okay.
Yeah.
I remember making Rice Krispies.
Yeah, but Rice Krispies my mom would make and send them.
Your mom's desserts are like
I know
cookies and everything. Oh man,
yeah,
amazing.
So,
but yeah, like I think that's pretty much like between those stages, like university and all that, you just kind of like you're all stressed out. You eat all kinds
university
of crap.
was a bad eating time for me.
Yeah, I think most of the people like whatever's fast.
I don't know if I mentioned it in previous podcasts, but like I had like this like I had the go-to like stay up all night meal.
Oh yeah.
Like that kept me up so I could study.
Yeah.
And that meal was like basically Coca-Cola and cold Chinese rice.
Oh man. How did that end up in your stomach?
Because
isn't that kind of like putting like Mentos in Coke?
No, I don't know why, but the cold Chinese rice and the Coca-Cola. It left such a bad aftertaste in my mouth it kept you awake.
No kidding. Yeah, from the pains and stabbing pains in your stomach.
And it would help me study throughout the night.
Yeah.
And so I remember having a few of those. But like I used to eat bad. Like I used to eat Taco Bell.
So where I was I was off campus in Waterloo, first year engineering, and there was Gino's Pizza. And man, when I was introduced to Gino's Pizza, those are the biggest pizza slices I've ever seen for like $2.50 or something. But they were like 3 times the size of Pizza Nova, right?
Yeah.
And I think I had that every single day, if not twice a day.
Yeah.
Because it was right around the corner.
It's
fast and it fills you up, right? Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, that's it. That's all I need.
It's not too expensive. Right, you're on a budget.
Right.
You're away from home.
That's right. And it was kind of like that was the go-to meal. And then my parents, even my aunt, would give me like frozen cannelloni.
I did that when I went to Windsor. I had all these pre-packaged like even like veal and sauce. I had
that's right.
Like,
me too.
I had even like lentil soups. Made for me.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff was there. So
I think nice. Like based on even like the way our families are and stuff. Like for the most part, like when we were home, we ate well.
We did, yeah.
I think it's like then afterwards, like, you know, we kind of like maybe pushed it a little bit when we were on our own and in university because we never ate like that as kids. Like we didn't I didn't frequent like McDonald's every week. Right?
No,
like we didn't have that stuff. No, we had like if we went to birthday parties, we used to have like pizza and like Kentucky Fried Chicken at people's houses.
That's right.
Yeah,
it was always other people's
at
houses.
A birthday's house, or even at ours, we'd order pizza. Right. But my mom would make pizza most of the time. Right. But like we didn't have like McDonald's and like Burger King and.
Yeah, you know what? It was McDonald's was once in a while, right? But
true.
it was mainly a typical Italian household. You make everything, right? You make all your sandwiches, your fettina, they're called. So it's breaded chicken, breaded veal.
Did you say sandwich or sandwich?
Listen back to hear how I said it. Sandwiches.
Sandwich.
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 But yeah, that's typically what it was. And well, how about this? So we talked about like the gorgonzola and all that stuff. What about strange or different foods?
Well, I mean, everyone knows if they've listened before about the blood pies.
Okay,
right?
so
Like,
that was pretty disgusting.
Yeah, that was disgusting. We did, me and my sister and I did not. We were not aware of that. I never got into like all these like weird things that like the typical Calabrese family stuff, like like pig's feet.
Okay,
and,
so
like,
I was
stuff
gonna
like
say,
that.
so liver is one of the
Yeah.
things that people eat. I find it disgusting.
No,
I don't know.
I can't eat
that texture. Is granular.
Yeah.
When you bite, it's kind of like something about it. If people out there eat it, great, but I just not my taste, right? But I used to eat things like, not that I used to eat it as if it's like, oh, I used to love it. No. These were things that I was kind of eating and then realized it after.
Yeah.
Or somebody told me, I'm
exactly.
and he spit it out. So one of them was, and I said this in a previous podcast, where it was a cold cut and I thought it was prosciutto.
I remember this,
but it was cow's tongue.
Cow's tongue, yeah.
And that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But it tasted fine.
You were
it tasted
licking your lips until you knew what it was.
That's right. And then it was licking my lips. But yeah, so that's what that was. The other thing is like, people who hunt or whatever, they have deer all the time, or moose,
like that dark meat, or like that
or
other
stuff
type of
like
meat.
that. I did have deer one time.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't hunt or I don't eat that kind of thing. But I did have deer one time. It was in Italy, in the northern part of Italy, in the Alps. Yeah. Where it was a deer stew.
Okay.
And you know what?
That's what they typically do, though. They find some way to put in a stew. Right?
It was. I didn't know what it was
they try
as
to
well.
Trick you, Paul.
Yeah, they tried to trick me.
Yeah.
I thought it was like beef or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, but it's tough. It was tough beef. And I'm like, so it was liver.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you that a friend of mine, if he's listening or is he going to listen, he sends me pictures sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, what is that? Yeah. Like, I'm like, what is that? Like, what is this thing? Yeah. And he's like, well, I'm going to eat this for dinner. To be honest, it looks like roadkill. Okay. It's disgusting. It's like
a raccoon.
I don't even know what it is. And it's like, are those like eyeballs of like something?
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, that's I don't know if it was cow eyeball or fish eyeball. It's like, yeah, they're delicacy. I'm gonna eat. Okay. The next day, frog's legs. I'm like, what?
I've had frog's legs.
Yeah, but I'm like, and another one is like a picture of like some kind of animal. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm like, well, where's the body? It's like, well, no, I'm gonna eat the head. I'm like, what? Like, what are you? Who are you? But it's like that to me is like, I can't. No, I draw the line at that kind of thing. But it was kind of like,
I don't want to. I don't want to
like
see the live version of what I'm eating.
Yeah, but like, are those parts healthy for you? Or
I doubt it.
Or maybe the mass population has it correct, where it's like the chicken breast, or like the chicken leg. That's it. Not the chicken eyeball, or the chicken beak, or something. The chicken foot, which I know is delicacy in certain areas, but. For me, it's like I'll stick to the standards. Yeah, from now on,
I 100% agree.
Yeah, so this was just kind of the strange things that I've seen or I've eaten or other people have
so
eaten.
For sure, and I obviously as we get older, right? Like we obviously realize that we can't continue at the eating pace that we were doing. So we all kind of slow down.
Well, don't you find that if you start eating better, we have started to eat better lately or over the past few years. Yeah. And as soon as you eat something that's not healthy, something is wrong in your stomach or you feel bad or whatever. Like I hadn't eaten pasta in a while. Yeah. Or any type of that kind of thing, the pasta carbs, right? So, Easter comes along, you start eating, they make the typical, they make ravioli with sauce or tortellini with sauce or lasagna or cannelloni, whatever. So, we had some tortellini, whatever, and I could barely eat anything else. Like it just, it sits in your stomach.
It's true, Paul. It's 100% because your body's not used to it, right?
No, maybe 7-8 years ago, I would eat that and everything else on the table.
Well, that's like with McDonald's, right? Like, so
that's another one.
Before the last time I had McDonald's until recently, like McDonald's meaning like a burger from McDonald's. Like sometimes we'll stop with the kids and we'll have a breakfast or we'll have like something like McDonald's, like a ice cream cone or something like that, right? But I'm saying like McDonald's, like an actual like a Big Mac or something like that. Like the last time I had something like that was at my honeymoon because we were in Spain and I wanted to try what a McDonald's thing was in Spain. And after that, I never had McDonald's again. I was like, because I find that if you start eating like things like McDonald's, like because of the salt and stuff, I think you really do crave it. Like if you stop eating certain things,
after,
you just don't whatever. So like a few months ago, like the kids were home one day and we had a gift card to McDonald's, and we went to go treat them to like McDonald's, and like so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna order something too to eat with the kids, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first time I had McDonald's in like 15 years.
What did you have?
And I had a quarter pounder with cheese.
Yeah.
Right, Paul. I felt so tired after.
Yeah, man. Like that.
That's what it was.
Right. It was. Yeah, it does that. I mean, it's you know what's strange?
I think it was more the fries.
The fries sit in your stomach forever.
Yeah, the fries I think are what did it to me more than.
Yeah, because it takes so long to digest.
Maybe it was like the 6th Big Mac I had. No, no, it was
number 7, 8. Yeah. No, but fries, like I find that maybe the burger's not as bad, but the fries take so much of your energy to digest all these things. Yeah. That's why you're tired, right?
Yeah. And like now I think we just, if we're going to go out, I think, you know, we're older, like, you know, we've done that, whatever. I think we prefer to just have something that, you know, we'll pay a little bit more, but we're going to enjoy it more.
Yeah. Like if we have a burger, it's like a burger from like a restaurant that's like, you know, like an Angus burger, or an Angus type, or a triple or a double. Yeah. I don't know the terminology, but grade A. Yeah, beef. Yeah, right.
Exactly. We went through our phase of like eating that faster food type burger, and then now we kind of stick to something. Well,
don't you find if you eat things like McDonald's, not only they make you tired, but you taste them days later. Yeah, like I taste I don't know what it is, a saltiness or something.
Taco Bell was bad
days
for
later.
me.
Taco Bell, man. I don't think I've ever eaten Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is like it was bad, like and like the one of the worst things about it was the fact that like when you got those like the fries with that random fatty minced meat on top, and then there was like sour cream and like cheese goo on top of it.
And I'm not joking. I don't think I've ever eaten Taco Bell, man.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
No, it's not. Yeah. It just doesn't sound right.
Yeah. It's like, it's not a run for the border, Paul.
No, it's not. Run away from the border.
So anyway, one of the I have to obviously give credit is to my wife, because my wife eats really healthy, right? And so after like I got to know my wife and we were dating and stuff, like that was the like turnaround for me when it comes to eating too, because I was in a phase in my life where I was starting to eat badly, whereas before I didn't, and then like I started eating healthier because she ate healthy, right? She probably gave me a few extra years of my life in the future. Because of that. 100%, right? But the thing is, and then afterwards, when you have a family and stuff, like you want to be healthy because you want to stick around for your family at the end of the day.
Here's a gender question. Do you think women eat healthier than men?
I honestly, I really do think that they do.
I do too.
Yeah.
And it just seems easier for them to do that. I don't know why. Isn't it? It's like
they have better.
They could just have a salad and chicken. But me, it's like I need a steak and pasta.
I think but I think it's even a self-control thing.
I think it is too.
I think that like women can have better self-control when it comes to food. Sometimes I don't know. I mean I don't know because like I'm not a woman, but like I think that. I mean, I'm sure they have cravings just like what we do, but I think we'll give in to them more.
Yeah, we eat it all the time. They eat it once in a while, the craving, right? Yeah. I think because it's like, I don't know. It just feels like at dinner, 90% of the time we have salad now, all the time, right? And if there's, you know, even a side dish and like a chicken or a veal or whatever, there's always a salad. Yeah. And my wife actually introduced me to that because she grew up where there was always salad. Yeah. All the time. Yeah. Salad on the table, salad before, salad after.
We always had salad.
Me,
too,
my family, never. Yeah. It was like maybe once in a while, but not like, it was mostly pasta, veal with breaded veal. Yes. Things like that. Mashed potatoes, things like that. Yeah. Salad, rarely. Yeah. So it was kind of like, oh, okay, that's healthier. Yeah. I'm going to do that. And now I'm used to it. Now it's like, okay, what are we making the salad?
Yeah. I love salad. I love having like a side of like rapini, like those kind of things. Those are always good. Yeah. Okay. So with that being said, I think we should get a little bit into our meals now. Yeah. Just to kind of get an idea. I don't know what's better. I don't know if we should just like Do you want to go?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
So, on a typical day, let's say, maybe we could say what we eat standard or typically for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay. Like I have certain things that I eat all the time, every day, and it's like
for the like me, it's for me. There's some things that are typical, and then like we can go maybe into more detail of what we did during those days. Yeah. It's up to you.
Okay, so
because like what I was gonna say is I don't know if you want to do something where maybe we talk about like each meal. Like, so you talk about your breakfast and I talk about my breakfast and we kind of get a comparison.
Sure.
But if we do that, maybe it'll take away from like the wholeness of the day, right? Because when we look at this, we need to be I think we should be a little analytical of like, are we getting enough of something in a day?
So let's do
maybe you just do one of your days just to kind of get an idea.
So I'll probably take like, I started tracking on the app. I'm sure people know about
FitnessPal.
My FitnessPal.
Yeah, I track that. I use that too.
Yeah, so I started tracking on that. It's really good. And I'll start on the second day because the first day I was still getting used to it.
Yeah.
So on the second day, I basically I'll just go over my typical day.
Yeah.
So for breakfast, as you've heard in other podcasts, I love coffee. So I have espresso.
Yeah.
Now I wake up around 4 o'clock average. So I have at least 2 espressos before I even have breakfast.
Wow.
So I forgot what episode was that was where we talk about the benefits or non-benefits of coffee. But
I think
listen to that episode.
The issue here is the acidity.
Yeah. So I think my stomach's used to it by now, but whether it's a good thing or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have espresso. Then I will have typically eggs.
Yeah.
I'll have 3 eggs, but I won't have any toast or anything like that. So it's espresso, 3 eggs. I'll have either steel cut oats with berries.
Okay.
In the microwave.
Yeah.
No honey, no nothing. That's it.
Okay.
So it tastes bland, but that's what it is.
Okay.
And then I have vitamins where I'll take a cod liver oil pill because that has vitamin D and vitamin A.
Yeah.
I believe it's vitamin A, as well as the omega-3.
Yep.
So it's a combination. And then I will have a small amount of creatine, to be honest, because I work out a lot. And it's more of a recovery thing. It's just a little powder, I forgot, it was like 5 mil or ounce or something like that. You just put it in water and you drink it. That's it. If I'm still hungry, because this is still only like 6:30, 7 o'clock, before I leave the house, I'll have more food. So I'll have like...
that's a lot of food.
Yeah, so I'll have like...
Wait, is that all one meal?
That's all breakfast. Wow. This is an average day, a typical day.
Yeah.
So then I'll have like a yogurt, and if I'm still hungry, I'll have maybe a sandwich of peanut butter. That's what I have just for breakfast. Now, typically, most of the time, I'll just have the eggs and maybe the oatmeal.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
But if I'm really hungry, I'll have those other items, right?
Wow,
so that's breakfast.
Paul, that's a lot.
Yeah,
but you know what, though? You've always had like this crazy metabolism where you can eat a lot.
Well, that's the thing, too. And I'm very active, so I need to get the calories or I will disappear.
Yeah.
So the next thing is lunch. So my work is close to restaurants.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with everyone that I typically eat at a restaurant almost every day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Or we'll order to the office. Yeah. So, the foods there are not that amazingly healthy.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. So what we do is I try to order things that are somewhat healthy.
Yeah.
But they do add, like a lot of salt and a lot of oil, whatever.
Of course, yeah.
So
it's not going to be the same as when you have a controlled atmosphere.
That's right. But I'll typically do a protein and like a vegetable.
Yeah.
So on this day in particular, I had a 10-ounce steak.
Yeah.
And then I had a butternut squash soup to start. Then a steak. And the steak came with rapini and potatoes. So that's what I had. Yeah. Then I had an espresso.
Yeah.
And that was lunch.
Yeah.
When I got home at the end of the day, I had a snack. That's my next thing. I had yogurt. And look at this, gorgonzola. So I had some gorgonzola, and that's it. Right? So that's what I had on that day. Now, dinner was, we had turkey burgers. So homemade turkey burgers. I had salad with oil and vinegar.
Yep.
And that's it. That was dinner. And then some more snacks after the fact, was just mostly fruits.
Okay.
and some hummus dip with rice crackers.
Wow.
That's my meal. Now, I connected this app to my Garmin watch, which tracks my exercises.
Yeah.
So it does
I did that with mine too.
Yeah, so it does deduct
to see
calories
if you have
and whatever. So that day I did the bike for, it says 11 minutes, but I did it for longer than that because I also did the workout. So it only tracks, I think, aerobic exercises here, not strength exercises.
No, you have to put that in manually try to create something.
That's right. So I did the bike as well as strength exercises.
Yeah.
And then it says here 4,200 steps.
Yeah.
So all in all, I had about 2,383 calories. That's all that food.
Yeah.
There was that many.
Because you've deducted.
Because it deducts what the exercise had. So that's the total of calories. So it's probably like 3,500 calories, but then it was reduced.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. That's basically it.
Yeah, which makes sense.
And there was some water involved in that whole meal.
I would hope so.
It was about 3 or 4 cups.
So that was one of the days.
One day.
Okay. I'm going to be interested to see how it differentiates.
Right.
And what ways. Because I know you said a lot of times it's very similar.
Yeah.
Okay. But even the differences in because if it's I knowing you, I'm assuming most of the similarities are the breakfast and lunch, and then like the dinner is where it sways.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, if you want to get into that first, so that it's basically, again, every single day for breakfast I will have that espresso, and then 90% of the time the eggs and the oatmeal.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Okay.
For lunch, I'll just have, I'm just going to generalize it. I'll have a typical protein vegetable meal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Now, whether it's one side dish of vegetables or 2, that's what it is.
Okay.
So it could either be a fish, a grilled chicken, or a steak.
Yeah.
Now, these are not like, fried in butter with all kinds of other garbage on it. These are just grilled steaks and grilled vegetables.
Yeah.
That's it. And then for dinner, it would be, again, another protein and salad all the time, or 99% of the time. And then the protein with some kind of side dish, whether a green or rice or something like that.
Okay.
In between snacks, they're not like chocolate bars and things like that.
Yeah.
They are healthier snacks. They're yogurts. They are protein bars.
Yeah.
Or hummus with crackers, which is my typical go-to. I love that stuff. And that's it.
Yeah.
So that's my typical day.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go into more analysis, I guess, of each of ours after I go through mine. So I'll go through one day of mine, and then I'll talk about maybe some subtle differences between the days. With me, I think the common thing is similar to Paul. Like I think like the dinner is where we differentiate a lot from day to day, because obviously like we're at home, we're making the dinner or whatever. But a lot of the times my breakfasts are very similar from day to day because of routine. And also lunches too. I'm going to be honest, after having gone through COVID and stuff, my lunches aren't as healthy as they used to be because of the fact that I had more access at work before to like microwaves, toaster oven, stuff like that, where I could actually like warm up stuff, leftovers, things like that. Whereas now, a lot of times I'm eating a sandwich, which I would prefer not to eat at lunch, but given the circumstances, it's almost like I feel like I have to. Like sometimes I'll differentiate it with a bagel, with a wrap or something like that. But so like the first day that I did this, my breakfast was banana, which I have almost pretty much every day unless we run out of bananas. Country Harvest toast bread, like the ones that have like all the grains in it.
That's good.
Like a rye bread with a sliced avocado on it, and some days a slice of cheese, some days not. And then I'll have I'll make a double Nespresso coffee to put in a big coffee mug to drink throughout the day. Right. So that's my my breakfast for the most part. For lunch, And the difference between the breakfast that day and the other 3 days is that this thing that stays the same is typically the banana, and then sometimes instead of having the toast with the avocado and cheese, it'll be replaced with one day was multigrain Cheerios with skim milk, and then another day it was Nature's Path coconut oatmeal, and then I put like a tablespoon of like soy spread on it.
Nice. What is soy spread?
Well, because my wife has a peanut allergy, so we get like the soy butter instead of
okay.
And like sometimes I'll put in a teaspoon of like maple syrup just for like taste or for like sweetness. And I'll have like lemon meringue Greek yogurt or like a strawberry Greek yogurt, those little packs.
Yeah.
So that's my typical breakfast. So it's usually like a fruit, coffee, and then a grain of some sort with avocado or with soy, something, whatever. Okay. My lunch is typically an Italian bunino, like a bun. Okay. And, I try to put in like either like oven roasted turkey breast or, sometimes it'll be General Salami. One day was like, one day was turkey breast and salami. Another day was actually I had pizza left over from the previous day from dinner or something. So I had a few like 3 slices of pepperoni pizza, like those small square pieces. And then another day was it was like roast beef with mayo, lettuce, and cheese, right? And then the snacks that go along with lunch or around lunchtime or throughout the day are like a Honey Crisp apple. Okay, of course it's Honey Crisp.
Right.
Sometimes a cheese string or like some sort of cheese to go along with it. Baby carrots with ranch veggie dip and like radish. We've talked about the radish before in the Did You Know section.
Right.
And usually a protein bar. So throughout the day, I'll have at some point like a caramel macchiato protein bar or like some protein bar that has like either nuts in it or some sort of like dark chocolate. Okay. And then my dinner during these 3 days, one day was breaded chicken breast that was done in the air fryer with Brussels sprouts that were boiled and minestrone soup. And then another time it was a chicken pot pie. Like those little miniature ones with steamed broccoli and a salad. And then the last day was kamut spaghetti with
kamut spaghetti.
Yeah, like Kamut. It's a type of grain, I think.
Oh yeah, okay.
Kamut. I don't know how to say it.
Kamut, okay.
Yeah. With homemade sauce and a green salad with oil and vinegar, cucumbers, tomatoes, etc.
Yeah, so it's not bad. That's pretty good.
I think like I said, the hardest thing or the most difficult thing for me is the lunch, right? Like it's hard to sway from like a bun with like cold cuts or something for me right now, just because I really prefer not to like go into the staff room and like use the microwave that like everyone's using and stuff like that. Just for now.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of affected it. And if you're not warming something up, it's hard. Like I'm not into like bringing in like a thermos to work with like soup
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
actually
not my
when
style.
I was before high school, I used to do that a lot. Like, they give you the thermos. We do that with our kids all the time.
Yeah.
Right. The pasta in there or something in there. Right. So it kind
my kids tend to like end up leaving a lot of that food.
Yeah, you know what? Ours too. Yeah, they kind of just they come home with it and say, "Why didn't you eat your food?" And then they eat it at home.
Yeah,
so it's kind of a different thing.
I feel better now that other people are doing it too.
Yeah, that's right.
But like, so that's what I'm eating. Listening to you and I think the thing that kind of stood out when you were talking to me about yours was the eggs.
Oh,
like,
the eggs. Yeah.
Do you think it's too much? Like,
you know what?
That's my only question.
I had thought that as well, but then I was listening to this doctor that said, I have 4 eggs a day, and this is why you should have them.
Yeah,
because of the vitamins and all that stuff. Yeah. Cholesterol wise, maybe it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, I try to do egg whites as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do it because I feel like because I work out a lot, maybe it's not going to affect as much the cholesterol, but maybe it is.
Yeah.
So far, knock on wood, it hasn't. But yeah, I'm trying to transition as well away from the eggs because I just find like eggs are easy for me to make.
Yeah.
and I just kind of throw them in there and that's it, right? But I also have lately we've been getting these pancake mixes that are protein pancakes.
Yeah.
So they have healthier ingredients in there with like a zero sugar type of syrup.
Yeah.
They taste kind of bland, but at least you're getting the protein in there for what you need it for.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe in the long run, it's not a good idea.
Yeah. So for me, like with the eggs, because like I have a history of having cholesterol, like I kind of, it's something that I go out of my way to make sure that I don't consume personally often. But I would have to say that it would be a go-to breakfast for me too, because I love eggs.
Yeah, it's you know what, I haven't tested my cholesterol like I think ever. Yeah. So my doctor keeps saying, "Oh, you need a physical." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
But maybe it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think I did take a physical. I don't know how many, maybe a couple of years ago, and he said everything was fine. But yeah, maybe it's a good idea to do that.
Because at the end of the day, cholesterol has nothing to do with weight.
No, you're right. Yeah. And it's like a give and take. Like some people say, "Oh, the food's good for you," and then other people don't.
Yeah.
But the real test is test yourself out.
Well, yeah.
And see if you have
the thing is, there's some people that can eat like 4 or 5 eggs a day, and their cholesterol will never go up because of the fact that their body just will just naturally
break it down and whatnot.
And also because you're working out, the good cholesterol balances the bad.
That's right.
Etc. Right. So there are other things that go into play. I think that's really the only thing that really stood out, other than like the quantity. Well, but like that didn't surprise me as much though, because I know you, right? Like you've always been someone who, like, because you're moving around all the time, you're always hungry, right? Like even when we go out, you're like, oh, I'm so hungry.
My metabolism is very high, and I even if I wanted to, maybe a lot of people won't like this, but I don't gain weight. It's just I don't do it. I also don't gain too much muscle. So and I've been working out forever.
Yeah.
So it's more of trying to balance things out.
Yeah.
And we may talk about this, or I think it's coming up, but tracking the information has helped a lot actually.
Yeah.
I've only done it for maybe a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
I find that by tracking, it makes me not want to eat bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, because I'm like, oh, I got to put it down there.
Yeah.
I'm going to write it down and I'm going to see what it is, and I don't want that. So I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
So it has really been a good tool for that.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you just forget what you eat,
yeah.
and you don't know, well, how much fat did I eat today,
yeah.
or how many carbs did I eat, or
yeah.
whatever, right? So I'm surprised to see like my carb intake is like 300 grams average a day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad or whatever.
Well, you know what I like about that app?
It's not bad.
What I like about that app is that when you, even without paying for the app, just doing the free app, if you go into your settings, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you go into your settings and there's a spot where it actually breaks down your quantity of like carbs, fats, etc. based on your meal, and gives you the percentage breakdown of the three to see if you're hitting a proper target of what your body should hit.
I looked at that all the time,
which is awesome because a lot of times I was hitting that and I didn't even know.
Yeah, me too. And it's even protein, right? I said, well, how much am I actually eating? Yeah. This tells you. Yeah. So it's kind of nice to see that.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't think that you are, and then you try to go get it from other places, and you might be overdoing it.
I was actually surprised that when I started to track this and it gave me the stats, I said, well, wow, like that's an average day. And I thought, I ate a lot of food. And I'm like, that's not that many calories.
No,
because you're eating healthy.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like I'm eating Big Macs every day. Like I put in, for instance, the meat ravioli with sauce.
Yeah.
For Easter we had that, right? There was like 1,000 grams or 1,000 calories or something just in that.
Well, because of the pasta and all that.
Right, but then I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, look what pasta does.
Yeah.
And breads and all that.
Yeah,
like it's crazy, right? So that 2,500 calories or 3,000 calories, that's like basically no pastas and anything like that. If you add that into it,
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like 4,000 or 5,000 calories.
Because I realized that too, because when I was tracking my stuff, I always like, I would like, for example, like one day we were having barbecue and like we had steak or something, or like a hamburger or something like that. It's all the other things that bring the calories.
That's right.
The meat itself.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Like a lean chicken and like turkey breasts and stuff like that. Like even the cold cuts.
Yeah.
Like the cold cuts are bad for you because of what they go through.
That's right. Yeah.
But the actual meat, it's like okay, like you get like
a lot of protein.
You get non-nitrate like turkey breast.
Yeah.
Like that's not bad.
Yeah.
Well,
before we did the podcast, I was so hungry that I made myself a turkey sandwich and I ate it before we did the podcast. Yeah. But it's
well, let's be honest, Paul. We were waiting for your pool guy to leave.
Yeah, we were. he was standing in the background in the shot. So we kind of said, okay, we'll wait. An hour passed, and he finally
at least
left.
we know he does his job.
That's right. He's supposed to come tomorrow, Joe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was so I think those items though, I think it's mostly the sodium that you gotta watch. Because like one cold cut slice could have like, I don't know, 250 milligrams of sodium. And it's just like, oh, okay.
And the dairy, Paul. So that's what
I
want to talk about. The dairy is a struggle with me because it's weird, right? Like I never thought dairy would be a struggle with me because of the fact that I don't really like wet cheeses.
Gorgonzola.
Right? I don't like them. Like growing up, like on my my grandparents' farm and stuff, my grandfather made the cheese on the farm, like fresh cheese, and he would like
we used to make that too
to sell it to people and stuff. A lot though, Paul, like a lot. He had a whole room dedicated to it.
A lot of cows,
like,
I mean.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of milk.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there was an entire like almost like the size of a garage, but like a basement kind of thing that's
really
beside the house that was dedicated completely to making cheese.
Wow.
And so, like, I didn't like the smell. And
it's very strong.
And you saw
in the cellars,
and seeing it all happen there in front of you, like, so I was not into those wet cheeses and stuff.
We're talking like bocconcini and stuff.
Yeah, I can't stand that.
Oh, I love bocconcini.
I went to get bocconcini once for my wife, and when I went to go pick up the bocconcini, like some of the water spilt on my hands, and honestly, it was like. I was gonna die. I felt like I was gonna die. The disgust of brine on my hands. Okay, it just honestly, I shiver thinking about it.
Come on, that bad?
No, it's really bad. I don't like even the thought.
I think some people drink that brine.
That's disgusting, Paul.
It's
like like we almost have to pause this podcast right now. That's how bad it is. It's disgusting. So and I tend to struggle with like, I realized when I was tracking my stuff that I have a lot of like cheese slices and stuff throughout the day because, if I have, and so that's what I've been trying to cut out. So like, I try to like not put the slice of cheese in my sandwich that I'm having, or take it away from, if I'm going to have it during lunch, take it away from the avocado and toast. So don't add it.
Yeah, but you know what? Then it's like, doesn't it suck?
Avocado toast tastes good no matter what.
That's true.
Yeah.
But doesn't it suck? Like, it's like, you could tell that cheese is missing.
Yeah, you can. Right. But
you got to get used to it after a few
you got to get used to it just like everything else, right? Yeah. So, right. It's not like I'm saying I'm going to have a cheeseburger without the cheese.
Yeah, no, it's a healthy item.
Just a burger.
Listen, cheese is not bad for you.
No,
it's just,
not.
It's
but
got
I'm
a lot of
saying,
protein. And
yeah, it's just, it's extra like, it's extra fat and calories that maybe I can do without.
Yeah, I mean, it's the dairy itself too. It's what the dairy does to your body.
It's not good for your skin.
Our body.
It's not like,
skin. It's not good. It's not good for inflammation.
It creates phlegm.
That's right. Phlegm.
Yeah.
Phlegm.
Yeah.
It's an inflammatory.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not good for your joints, arthritis, things like that. It does give you a lot of skin reactions. If you are allergic, it worsens. I think
in general. I think most
in
people,
general, even like nasal phlegm,
yeah.
nasal congestion, things like that. And the phlegm is a lot. You can tell if people have a lot of dairy, like they clear their throat a lot. They maybe cough or hack a little bit more than regular.
Because of the phlegm.
Because of the phlegm. But yeah, you know what though? It's like, I feel like it fills you up when you need to fill yourself up. Like, it's like, if you want a glass of milk, listen, it also has calcium.
That's the thing, right?
Right?
Like, so, but like, even like, when I used to snack a lot, like now I find that I don't really snack as often, like after dinner. Like I have more self-control.
I try not to, man.
I have a lot of self-control now with that. Like I do from time to time give in. Like the other day, like, you know, I was like, you know what, I want to have some ice cream.
Yeah, man.
Right. And I had some ice cream.
I do
right.
that too.
But for the most part, I try my best. But the thing that I used to really like have a lot of at night, because I would like finally sit down to like get some work done for school or for something, is either cereal with milk, so I'd have the milk late, or cheese and crackers.
I do the same thing. Though. I have cereal, yogurt, or fruits. I'll have sometimes, but like that, typically a dairy product.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. It's comforting.
it is, you know? Right? And I don't know. Analysis wise, like the thing I do have to say is that I'm pretty happy with the fact that for the most part, when I'm getting grains throughout the day, like it's wholesome grains. Like for the even like as a family, like we've really like, you know, moved away from having just like white pasta and white flour.
Yeah,
like we used to. Like a lot before, just have more like white pasta, white flour. But now it's for example, I rarely have a slice of toast that doesn't have grains in it, right? Like it has some sort of, you know, texture, like something different, right?
Like if you get like the Dempster's bread though, it's kind of like, is it Dempster's or is it?
No, it's like even like the rye bread, like
see that's I think healthier, right? Like,
yeah,
if
like
you get
it's
like Dempster's, it's still processed.
Yeah. It's like the thinly sliced like Rudolph brand, like with all the grains
like
on
the healthier brands.
But like
not saying Dempster's not,
but even Dempster's has like those other versions. Like
they do,
like the like
we have
the
the multi-grain
honey
Dempster's.
oat brand, like stuff like that.
I have, if it's bread, I'll have the Dempster's like whole wheat, whole grain or something. All the time.
It's and so with that, like you know, it's a little. I really enjoy like even like ancient grain bread. When you buy that, right? It's good when it's toasted.
When it's toasted, I put something nice
avocado.
on it. Actually, I'll put like cream cheese.
And
it's amazing, right?
That's another thing, right? Like I would find that at night, another thing I would do is either like, you know, cheese and crackers, or like I take some cream cheese and put on some crackers.
Actually, I would do there's these thin wafer crackers that I'll put peanut butter on. I'll just eat those, right? Something like that. But I think this whole episode is about, I guess, how we have shifted, right? In what we used to eat and how we eat now. And I could see a big change where it's like, obviously, when you're younger, you don't care. You eat whatever you want. You want to try all different flavors, all different things, ice creams, chocolates, whatever it is. Then when you're in your teenage years, you may still do that. Maybe you even eat worse. You probably drink a lot of pop. Or things like sugar drinks. That was a bad thing
for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great at all. And then, you know, as you get older, maybe, you know, when you have kids or just in general, our age, you know, we're, you know, mid age in our 40s. It's more like, okay, I want to take care of myself now. And then, you know, hopefully you start that habit for the rest of your life where you start to eat better and better and better.
For sure.
And then when you're older, you're probably like, I'm old, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. And it goes back to how it was when you were a kid, right?
It's like that whole thing of like,
whole cycle
you know,
of life.
You know, what starts on 4 legs moves to 2 legs and then ends in 3 legs.
That's right.
You got a cane.
That's right. Yeah.
but so
anybody else picturing anything else?
So anyway, so we, you know, the other thing too, I think in this conversation that we had is the fact that like we could have a really good conversation about food. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we have good conversations around food and about food, and it has been lost over the years, right? Like I find myself like I said, like, you know, you go on like, you know, whether it's Twitter, whether it's like, you know, YouTube, whether it's Instagram, wherever, and you know, people like post pictures of like their meals and stuff, and then you give it a thumb up and you're like whatever, but like you don't have those conversations anymore. Like even with us, right? Like for example, like I remember like back in the day, right, when there wasn't as much technology, like if like we knew that, like for example, we went to like a new restaurant or something, and like we talked about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's Saturday, I'm gonna check out this new restaurant, whatever, right? Like a day or two later, we'd have a conversation and we'd be like, hey, yeah, so how was that restaurant?
That's right.
Did you end up going, whatever? Whereas now, a lot of those conversations with people are lost because like we said before, you're not gonna bring it up because you saw it on Instagram.
That's right. I saw that picture where you went, okay, I'm done. I'm good. I don't need to know anything else about it.
And it's funny because even like you know, while we were talking here, right? Like you brought up like sorry, not when we were talking here, when we were talking in the previous episode, you brought up like the e-bike, right?
That's right, yeah.
And like, so I like one morning recently, I was like at work, I had a few minutes, I'm like, oh, let me check Instagram quickly. I checked Instagram like before school started and I saw the e-bike, right? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I gotta remember to ask Paul about it.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, but then I forgot. We talked a couple of times in between there, and I didn't even talk to you about it. Yeah, see? Right? And then it came up here.
That's right.
Because we're having good conversations.
Good conversations.
Yeah. Right? And we're making you know, an effort.
That's right.
Right? At the end of the day. Which is what we've been pushing all along.
And that's the point.
Right? We've been pushing all along. It's the point of this whole podcast. I think, you know, like since we've started, we've had really good conversations. We've got really good feedback from people regarding, and you know, I think hopefully this conversation specifically has provided our audience with some food for thought.
Very nice.
Very nice. So as always, we thank you for losing yourself in our conversations, and until next time, I'm Joel.
I'm Paul.
See ya.